Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're tackling something that might sound a bit heavy at first, but I promise it's actually packed with insights for living better now.
That's right. We're looking at the top 5 regrets of the dying.
Yeah, and this comes from the work of Bronnie Ware, who was a palliative care nurse. So
Mm.
she spent years, literally years, right there with people in their final weeks listening.
It's such a unique perspective, isn't it? Hearing what really matters when all of the noise fades away.
Absolutely. And what struck me reading about this is what these regrets weren't about, you know? Not fancy cars or big job titles.
No, it was much deeper, more fundamental stuff.
Exactly. Things like living authentically, connections, expressing yourself, the real human experience.
Mm. It really makes you pause and think about your own priorities, doesn't it? Are they aligned with what brings that deeper, lasting peace?
So that's our mission for this deep dive. We want to really dig into these regrets, understand them, and pull out lessons,
Hmm.
things you can actually use
Well,
today, right now.
okay. Where do we start?
All right, let's jump in. Number one, this was the absolute most common one Bronnie Ware heard. I wish I'd had the courage to live a life true to myself, not the life others expected of me.
Wow. That one hits hard, doesn't it? The most common.
Yeah, it speaks to that tension, I think, between who you really are inside and all the pressures from outside.
Mm-hmm. Society, family, even just the shoulds we internalize.
Totally. So many people right at the end had this clarity. They saw they'd lived according to someone else's script, maybe their parents' expectations or what they thought society wanted.
And the regret wasn't about failing by those external standards.
No, it was about not having the courage to even try living their own life, pursuing their own dreams or values. That's the kicker.
That's a huge sense of lost opportunity, not just things undone, but a whole part of themselves maybe unlived because they were afraid.
Afraid of judgment, maybe, or failure, or just rocking the boat.
Could be all of those. And Ware saw it play out in different ways, right?
Yeah, definitely. Like people who always wanted to be, but thought it wasn't practical,
Yeah.
you know?
The sensible path took over.
Or they wish they'd traveled more, seen the world, or even just made bolder choices in relationships, maybe, or career paths that felt right, even if they seemed risky.
So bringing that to us, to the listener, it's a big question.
It really is.
Yeah.
Are you, right now, living authentically? Or are there parts of your life driven by those external shoulds or fears? Are there things you truly desire that you're sort of pushing down?
And authenticity looks different for everyone, doesn't it? It's not one size fits all.
Good point.
For one person, it might be a huge career shift. For someone else, maybe it's just setting better boundaries with family or finally picking up that guitar again.
Yeah, it's about aligning the outside with the inside, your actions with your values.
And the great thing is, you don't necessarily need a life-altering explosion tomorrow.
Right. It can be small steps, conscious choices, saying no sometimes, signing up for that thing you keep thinking about.
But the urgency is there. What Bronnie Ware heard. It tells us the time to start living that authentic life is. Well, it's now.
Because that feeling, looking back and thinking, I never really lived my life.
That's a heavy burden, especially when you can't change it anymore.
Okay, let's move to number two. I wish I hadn't worked so hard.
Yes. This one came up a lot, especially Ware noted from men she cared for.
Which probably reflects, traditional roles, maybe. The pressure to be the main provider.
Very likely. That sense of obligation to put work first, sometimes above almost everything else.
On the cost. What Ware heard was the cost was huge.
Yeah.
Missing out on, well, life.
Yeah. Missing kids growing up. The little moments.
Exactly. Or not spending enough quality time with their partners, just missing the richness outside of the job.
It brings home that fundamental truth, doesn't it? About time. Work is important, sure, but it can swallow everything else, and at the end,
Time is the real currency.
that's it. You can chase more money, maybe, but you can never get back lost time. A moment missed is gone forever.
And look, this isn't saying don't work hard or be lazy. It's about intention.
Right. How are you choosing to spend that non-renewable resource, your time? Is there a balance?
So for everyone listening, just take a second. Are you sacrificing time with people you love or time for your own well-being constantly for work?
Are you actually scheduling joy, scheduling connection, scheduling just
Or
life up?
is work always allowed to bleed over into everything else?
It also makes you question how we define success, I think. If it's only about climbing the ladder, getting the title.
Then it's easy to lose sight of everything else.
Yeah. Maybe we need a broader definition, one that includes healthy relationships and, your own sanity and happiness.
Absolutely. I love the phrase that comes out of this. Work to live, don't live to work.
Simple but powerful. Work should support your life, not be your entire life.
And also being present where you are. If you're working, okay, work. But if you're home or with friends, be there.
Mentally, too, not just physically scrolling through emails.
Okay. Regret number 3. This one feels very human. I wish I'd had the courage to express my feelings.
Yeah, this taps into something deep. How we manage our inner world and share it, or don't.
It's interesting, isn't it, how often people suppress what they feel. Sometimes for good reasons they think like keeping the peace, avoiding conflict.
Smoothing things over. But the long-term cost of that silence, Ware saw it could be really significant.
She found people regretting not speaking their truth, not saying what needed to be said in important moments.
Or not offering forgiveness when they could have, holding onto grudges.
Or on the flip side, just not saying I love you enough, not expressing affection to the people who mattered. Those unsaid words, they leave a mark.
That weight of unspoken feelings, positive or negative, can get really heavy over the years. It leads to bitterness sometimes, or just distance, missed connections.
So the invitation here for all of us is pretty direct.
Find the courage.
Yeah, express yourself authentically. Don't wait for some perfect imaginary moment to tell someone you care.
Or if there's something difficult that needs clearing up, find a way. Gently, maybe, but find a way.
And forgiveness, too. Forgiving others, but also maybe forgiving yourself. It's about letting go.
It's key to remember that feelings themselves aren't good or bad, they just are. They're valid. It's about acknowledging them, first to yourself, and then finding healthy ways to express them.
Exactly. Not bottling it all up until it explodes, or just letting it fester. Because, as these regrets show us, your feelings matter.
Don't let fear stop you from sharing your heart.
And it's not just the heart stuff, right? It's expressing joy, gratitude, appreciation, too.
Absolutely. Those build connection just as much, maybe even more.
Okay, number 4. I wish I had stayed in touch with my friends.
Friendship. So important, but sometimes easy to let slide.
Totally. And Ware found that in those final weeks, people really miss their old friends. That deep connection, the shared history.
That unique kind of support you often only get from friends you've known for ages. People who get you.
So why they lose touch? What were the reasons?
Often. It just happened. Life got busy.
Yeah. Careers, kids, moving. The daily grind just takes over.
And sometimes pride gets in the way, maybe. Or just inertia. You mean to call, you mean to reach out, but...
You don't. And then weeks become months, months become years.
And you lose something really valuable. These friendships aren't just casual things. They're, well, you called it soul fuel earlier.
Yeah, I think that fits. True friendships are soul fuel. Don't let them fade away. That's the message here. They are crucial for our well-being, our sense of belonging.
So this is a nudge, isn't it, for everyone listening?
Definitely. Think about that friend you haven't spoken to in a while. Send that text. Make the call. Plan something.
Because often, even if it's been ages, you can pick right back up. It just takes that first step. Don't let busyness be the excuse that leads to regret later.
Okay, the final one, number 5. And this one is quite profound, I think. I wish I had let myself be happier.
That phrase, let myself, it implies choice, doesn't it?
Exactly. It wasn't always about external circumstances preventing happiness. It was often an internal block, a realization that happiness was, to some extent, something they denied themselves.
Wow. How'd that show up?
We notice people stuck in old patterns. Negative thinking habits, maybe. Or holding on to fear of change, fear of the unknown.
Or resentment. Lingering bitterness about past hurts.
Yeah, all of that. It's like they were waiting for everything outside to be perfect before they allowed themselves joy.
And life's rarely perfect, is it?
Never. So they missed out. They didn't realize that happiness is often, well, a choice you make in the moment, an attitude.
It really highlights the power of mindset. If you're always focused on lack or worry or what went wrong, there's just no room for happiness.
So for us, right now, this is a call to action, to choose happiness. Actively.
What does that look like in practice, though?
Could be anything. Putting on music and dancing, laughing more, getting outside, spending time with people who lift you up.
Cultivating gratitude, maybe. Consciously noticing the good things, however small.
Yes. That's huge. Focusing on what you do have, not just what's missing.
It's amazing how much agency we actually have there. Happiness isn't just luck, it's something you cultivate.
Right. Through your thoughts, your choices, your actions. So the instruction from these regrets is simple, but maybe not easy. Let yourself be happy.
Give yourself permission. Break those old negative patterns.
It sounds almost too simple, but it requires that conscious effort, doesn't it? To stop denying yourself joy.
And self-compassion, too, I think. Believing you actually deserve to be happy.
Okay, so we've gone through these 5 big regrets, powerful stuff. How do we translate this into, practical steps? What can listeners actually do differently starting today?
Well, based on everything we've discussed, a few key things stand out. First, maybe, take some real time to reflect. Define personal success for you. What does a fulfilling life look like on your own terms, not based on what others think?
That's foundational, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you don't know what you want, you'll end up chasing someone else's dream and hitting that first regret.
Exactly. Second, consciously, deliberately prioritize your relationships. Family, friends, make time for them. Nurture those connections. They're the bedrock.
Yeah, be proactive. Don't just let friendships drift. Make the call. Schedule the coffee.
Third, maybe think about embracing calculated risks. That fear of failure or looking silly, it holds so many people back. But the regret of not trying. Where's work suggests that's often way worse.
Fear is temporary. Regret can last a lifetime. That's a powerful reframe.
Fourth, actively cultivate gratitude. Make it a practice. Notice the small joys, the everyday good stuff. It shifts your whole perspective.
Changes your focus from lack to abundance. Simple, but effective.
And finally, number 5, practice forgiveness. Let go of old hurts. Resentment is heavy baggage. Forgiving others, and maybe forgiving yourself too, frees you up for happiness.
Those are really solid takeaways. And they all seem to circle back to one core idea, don't they?
Being present.
Yeah, living now, not waiting for someday. Because as these stories from the end of life show so clearly, life is a gift. Live fully now.
This moment right here is all we're guaranteed. The past is gone. The future isn't here yet. The power is always in the present. How we choose to live it.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, just take a moment, everyone listening. Really let this sink in. You're alive today. That's incredible.
It truly is. Don't take it for granted.
Look around, appreciate something beautiful, reach out to someone you care about. Do one small thing today that aligns with your true self or brings you a spark of joy.
Live in a way. Try to live in a way that when you do look back, whenever that day comes, you can smile, knowing you lived with courage, with love, with fewer regrets.
And hey, if this conversation sparks something for you, maybe share it. Pass these insights along. Someone else might need to hear this too.
Because ultimately, life is happening right now.
And you have the power to make it beautiful. Go live it.
Yeah.